Hello there, different type of video today. It's not vacuum cleaners, it's a car. This is a Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit from 1982. It's got 74,000 miles, and you might wonder why it's on our channel. I'll tell you a brief story. Long before we did vacuum cleaners, we used to do cars, and we used to specialise in Mercedes and other types of old British cars. And every now and again, I buy one of these because I miss them. I buy one every now and again to get it out of my system. I've had quite a few Silver Shadows in the past. This is the first Silver Spirit I've had. I've had it since late summer. I've had a play around in it. The novelty's worn off now and it's for sale. So before it goes, I'm going to show you around it. So let's have a closer look. Let's start by having a quick look round. You can really, if you don't know what you're doing, you can really buy yourself into a whole heap of trouble with these if you buy a bag of spanners that's not been looked after. This one's a very decent example actually. It came from a guy that's got several Rolls-Royces and it spent the last few years living in a central heated, dehumidified and air-conditioned garage. So for 42 years old, it's actually in very decent condition. And it's quite low miles, this one. It's only 74, just about to turn 75,000 miles. But the thing, if you're thinking about buying one of these, I'm going to run you through one or two things that you need to know. Sooner or later, this is going to become part of your ownership experience. And if you buy one of these, you've got to expect this. Maybe once a year, but now and again. Now you can buy one of these for under 10,000 quid, and at that price level, it brings a lot of people into ownership. The important thing with these is to buy one that's been looked after, and buy one that's preferably that's been owned by an enthusiast, or at least somebody that knows something about them. Now, the thing about any old Rolls-Royce, it's if you're going to use it as a daily driver especially, but most people don't. Most people use them as a second car or a play car or something to clown around at the weekend in. But the thing about them is they are going to go wrong. They are going to break. It's 40-odd-year-old engineering. And I think when you buy one of these, you've got to look at it as a rolling restoration. You're always going to be mending something, or you're going to be planning to mend something. I've had to do a couple of small jobs on this while I've had it, which I'll show you. But I think you have got to view them as a rolling restoration. You're always going to find little niggles, especially with the electrics, because as we all know about British weather, and old British cars and electrics don't always go well together. So let's have a look inside. So let's have a look at the inside. Obviously you've got nice leather. You've got a column change automatic here, which is no different to really having one on the floor. It's still got part reverse neutral drive. 3-speed auto box, if I'm not mistaken, which doesn't sound a lot nowadays, but it's adequate. This one's got a very nice period 1980s Blaupunkt radio in it. It's actually a new one that you can connect modern devices to, but that's very interesting and very period. In the back here we've got lamb's wool overrugs and footrests. One of the things about the interiors of old Rolls-Royces is the smell. They smell fabulous. They smell like an old gentleman's club. Let's have a quick look in the boot, or the trunk if you're watching from the States. I don't know if anybody remembers the Top Gear episode where they kidnapped a fat Albanian and bundled him into the back of a car. If you want to kidnap a fat Albanian, there's plenty of room for him in here. And something I said about before as well, if you're going to buy one of these cars, try and get one with a history file that looks like this. This one's even got all its own tax discs, old tax discs, invoices, going back years and years and years. This is the kind of thing you're looking for if you're buying one of these. So time to have a look under the bonnet, I think. Or pop the hood, as some people say. So this is a 6.7 V8 with twin SU carbs. Later ones are fuel injection. Early ones have carbs. This is an early Spirit, so it has carbs. Lots of electricals there to go wrong. When I first bought this car, it didn't like starting from cold. I think it was just because it had lived in a cosy garage and I plonked it outside in the British weather. We investigated it and it ended up that it was the ignition unit at fault. It had an old Lucas Opus unit in there. I converted that to an American one, Lumentronic, something like that, and a flamethrower coil, again an American thing, and now it starts from cold really nicely. So let's go for a little drive. One of the first things you'll notice about these when you get in one is the very, very thin steering wheel. But they are quiet, the seats are exceptionally comfortable, and like I said before, it really does feel like a gentleman's club in here. They're not one of the types of cars that make you want to plant your foot into the carpet and tear about. And the fact that they wallow quite a lot, there's a lot of body roll, probably means you wouldn't want to do that anyway. But we're on a quiet road now, we can give us a little bit of stick. Now the eagle-eyed among you may have noticed that there's a little red light on the dash here. Ordinarily I would say run a mile from one of these if it's got a red light on the dash. There's 4 brake lights on the dash. The 2 top ones relate to the spheres. I won't go into what they are now. If you know about Rolls-Royce, you know what they are. Run a mile if the top ones are on. That one's only a fluid light. There's 2 huge fluid containers under the bonnet for brake fluid, and these take a very special type of brake fluid. You can't just put anything in these. You've got to put the right one in. And this has lost maybe 2 cupfuls in about 3 months. So I haven't found where it is yet. It's probably going to be a little job for the next owner. Probably a pipe weeping. You might just be able to hear a little rattling as well behind the glove box. That's where the fuse box is. That's going to be something like a bad earth on a relay. It wants poking around with a voltmeter one Saturday morning to find out what it is. It comes and goes. I haven't got round to doing it yet. You know, 42 years old or not, I always find it very satisfying driving one of these. And it's lovely to look down the bonnet and see the silver lady in front of you. Now, when I bought this, I brought it back on the motorway about 100 miles. It was perfect all the way. And they're quite nice on the motorway, these. Although I tend to find that they find their own speed where they're happy at. This one's happy about 65. 60, 65 is really happy. Of course it will do a lot more. I've not pushed it to see how much more. I've probably not been more than 70 or 80 in it. But at 65, it's quite happy and it's smooth. And there's no wobbles. It's the difference with a car that's been well looked after. So if you fancy buying one of these, like I said before, expect it to be a rolling restoration. You're always going to have something to fix on it. But you know what, you're only going to be using it probably at weekends or probably for the odd night out. And they are really a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's not the kind of video we normally do, but we are trying to do a little bit more automotive content for the channel. So, there it is, the Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit from 1982. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it.